Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Continuing our countdown to spring practice, just a little over a week away. I'm excited. Can't wait to get out there, see this football team, see what the identity of the football team is going to be for 2023. And, when we look at this football team, you go back to 2022, we know what we had on offense. Number one scoring offense in the country, 46.1 points per game. You flip over to the defensive side of the ball. I know the song and dance. I know the story all year long, how awful this defense was, how terrible the secondary was, but I really don't think it was as bad as people think. They gave up 22 points a game. That's good for 36th nationally. And yeah, 36 is not where you want to be. You got to take a step. You got to improve that number, get into the top 25, get into the top 15 in scoring defense. Then I think you can really take that next step. And I think that all starts with Rodney Garner and the defensive line. And when you look at what's coming back in 2023, obviously the first thing you look at is how are you going to replace Byron Young? How do you replace BY, a guy that led this football team with 7 sacks a year ago? We see what he's doing in the NFL Combine, and that's a lot of fun. It's fun to actually sit down and see the talk, see the buzz, see people talking about Tennessee football players at the NFL Combine. I can't wait to see who gets drafted where. Where does Hendon Hooker end up? Where does BY end up? Where does Jalen Hyatt go? Is Darnell Wright truly a first-round draft pick? Because that is big in the world of recruiting. But again, I think the way that this football team takes that next step, the defense has to catch the offense. The offense is way up here. The defense has to get up there even if we're going to make a true run at the college football playoff. And I think that all starts with the defensive line. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But as always, you guys know what to do. Smash that thumbs up just below the video. It's quick. It's free. It's easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you are new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. This channel is the heartbeat of the Tennessee fan base. We are for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. What that does, it's going to send a notification to your phone and let you know every time we go live, every time we drop a video. We're going to be live tomorrow, Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, talking all things Tennessee athletics, playing some NCAA football. We're going to be live every Wednesday for the rest of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Mark it on the calendar. We're going to break down the defense this week. We got a film breakdown coming next week, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you're dialed in and connected. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about this Tennessee defensive line. I've got the numbers there up on the screen. And again, it starts with replacing Byron Young. Who's going to replace that production, leading the team with 7 sacks? Well, you scroll down just a little bit. You see Roman Harrison with 3 sacks. You see Tyler Barron with 2.5 sacks. Are they going to take that next step? They are your upperclassmen. And when I look at this defensive line going into 2023, that's the question for me. The question is, are we going to see those upperclassmen lock down those positions? Roman Harrison, Tyler Barron. Are they going to be out there on opposite ends of the defensive line leading the charge? Or are we going to see some of these young up-and-coming talents kind of take that next step and overtake? And again, you look at Rodney Garner and what he's done his first 2 recruiting classes in the class of 22, the class of 23, adding guys like James Pierce, Tyree West. And then also in the class of 23, you've got Shandavion Bradley and Caleb Herring. Can the guys that were already on campus, can the Roman Harrisons, can the Tyler Barrons, are they going to lock down those positions? Because when you look at the defensive line numbers there, they're leading the charge. Your returning production is Roman Harrison, Tyler Barron. We'll get to the defensive tackle position here in just a second, but you see there Omari Thomas and also DeJoun Terry, also with a couple of sacks apiece. That's your returning production for 2023. But again, the question for me as we take a look at the depth chart is, are those upperclassmen, are they going to lock down the position, or are they going to give way to the up-and-comers? You can see here ourlads.com has it predicted Tyler Barron on one side, Roman Harrison on the other side. That's your upperclassmen. I don't know if that's going to be the case, and maybe that's going to be the case going into the season, but when it's all said and done, I look for the young guys, man. I look for Joshua Josephs, a guy who has already proven himself. I mean, he's already been out there as a true freshman. He needs to put on some more weight, needs to get more physical, but Joshua Josephs just has the length, the body, the frame to be an all-SEC type of edge rusher. And again, seeing him out there on the field as a true freshman. What about Tyree West? Tyree West is a guy that was a big win on the recruiting trail going into his sophomore season. Can he put it together and take that next step? Another guy that I'm excited to see is James Pierce. He's a guy that kind of came in as a freshman, and there was more buzz really about James Pierce than there was Joshua Josephs. James Pierce, higher rated prospect, but it sounds like he got on campus and didn't really he didn't really grasp. He had to put together what it took to be a college athlete, a college student, everything that goes into that. He's added some nice weight. A couple of guys on this defensive line worth taking notice of, James Pierce, and then also the incoming freshman. Incoming freshman Caleb Herring has added 20 pounds to his frame between his senior season and now. So I think Caleb Herring is showing he's ready to get to work. He's ready to go. And again, you talk about stacking recruiting classes, what Rodney Garner has done, the talent in just 2 years of recruiting. Joshua Josephs, James Pierce, Caleb Herring, Shandavion Bradley, Tyree West, not to mention David Hobbs. We're going to get into the defensive tackle position here in just a second. But that's what I'm keeping my eye on as we go into the spring for 2023. Who makes some noise? Or is it going to be more Tyler Barron and Roman Harrison? You know what you're getting with Roman Harrison and Tyler Barron. And again, when you look at the numbers, when you look at the stats from last year, it's not like Tyler Barron wasn't making plays. Tyler Barron was making plays. He just didn't take that next step, that big leap like BY did. You know, we talked about Byron Young going into last year. Is he going to be that baller that we all expect him to be? And he did. All SEC, all the buzz in the NFL combine. I'm excited to see the future for BY. Let's move on down to the inside, because the inside is going to be anchored by Omari Thomas. Started all 13 games a year ago. We saw him with 27 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups, 4 quarterback hurries, a forced fumble. I think he is the anchor of your defense. Who's going to be there in the rotation with him? You can see there on the screen, it's got Omari Thomas and Bryson Eason. And then right behind them, you've got Dejon Terry. You've also got Omar Norman Lott penciled in there, the transfer. I look for him to make some noise. And again, we talk about the transfer portal, guys that come in. Are some just looking for an opportunity, or are some coming to play? We talked about Dante Thornton last Wednesday. I don't think he's transferring to Tennessee to sit the bench. I think he's coming for an opportunity to get out there and make some money for himself at the wide receiver position. The thing about Rodney Garner is, there's going to be that rotation, right? Everybody is going to play. He wants to rotate 8 to 10 guys on that defensive line. And that's the beauty of it, because there is a ton of talent on that defensive line. You look at last year, Dejon Terry started 7 games. Karat Garland started 5 games. So, they were kind of in that rotation on the interior, but also it doesn't matter who starts on this defensive line when you just look at the talent. And again, I think the interior is going to be anchored by Omari Thomas, Bryson Eason, Dejon Terry, Omar Norman Lott. I think those are going to be probably your main 4 guys. We'll see how much play Karat Garland gets going into a senior year. What about David Hobbs, the big freshman, 5-star recruit, big fish for Rodney Garner? Is he, we broke down the film on him. If you've not watched that, go back, check it out. Coach Jay does a good job talking about David Hobbs, the athleticism for the big man. Unbelievable. Can you keep him off the field? Or, in this day and age with the transfer portal and everything going on in college football, when you get a big-time prospect like David Hobbs, you got to find a way to get him on the field. But what excites me so much about this defensive line unit is the young guys. And again, Joshua Joseph, James Pierce, Caleb Herring, Shandavion Bradley, Tyree West. You move to the interior, guys like David Hobbs. And then you move to the class of 24, two of the top edge rushers in the country are interested in Tennessee. One of the top interior defensive linemen in the country interested in Tennessee. When you've got Rodney Garner on campus, that's an ace up the sleeve. That's a wild card. That is an advantage over every other team in the country. And I think we rebuild this defense, starting with the defensive line unit. I think we've got something special going into 2023. And this defensive line unit is a big part of why I think the Tennessee defense takes another step. Do they move into the top 20? Do they move into the top 15 on scoring defense? We'll see. We'll see, because you got question marks in the secondary. You got some question marks at the linebacker position. But one thing I feel confident about, one thing that I feel certain about, is this defensive line unit is going to be good under Rodney Garner. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up on the way out the door and go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin' VAWLS Network. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin' VAWLS. We appreciate the support. Tag me up on Twitter. I want to see you guys rocking the merch at Boogie Bentley. Give me a follow. Tweet at me. I want to see those Talkin' VAWLS shirts out there in the wild. Also, thank you to the members of the channel. You can become a part of that. Hit that join button down below for as little as 99 cents a month. You are supporting what we are trying to do around here. I would greatly appreciate it. If not, that's cool. Hit the thumbs up. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on the defensive line unit. Join me tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, we'll be playing some NCAA football, but we will be talking all things Vol athletics. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.